Let us continue where we had left off last time, which was we had set up our UI. We had these stickers. We can open the panel, we can close the panel, and we can select the sticker. We can place them, we can select a new sticker, and we can place them as well. The goal for this video is for us to just use get this erase button working basically. But for us to do that, the first thing we need to do is to actually start tracking the stickers that we place down. So we have an array, right, in our sticker manager that says what stickers we currently have in our app. But every time we place a sticker, all we are doing is we are just instantiating it. So once the sticker is placed, there's no more reference to it in the code. So we don't know what stickers are placed, and we need to keep track of that. So to do that, we are going to use another different type of array. So we have used these normal arrays. You probably use this in processing as well, where we put these square brackets. The main thing about an array is that we cannot resize it real time. So if our array, when we hit play, if it has 15 game objects, we can't make it 16. We cannot increase the size of an array. So that's not going to quite work too well for our like sticker array, because like the place stickers, because when we place them, we're going to have to add new elements to that array as we're placing them. We could technically do something like make an array for the stickers and then just make it a very big array, and then as we add stickers we could fill it up. But there's a much better way. There is a special type of array called a list. A list is just like an array, but we can resize it in real time. So as we're running our app, we can resize this list. As we add new stickers, we can resize the list, add things to them. When we delete stickers, we can remove them from the list. In fact, we don't even have to deal with the resizing. That's all done dynamically by Unity and like C# itself. We just need to use a list instead. A big consideration, just like when you guys are like using arrays and lists, is like if you don't need to size something dynamically, as in like when we hit play, we know the size of this. Use an array, it's just more resource friendly. If you do need to size something dynamically, it makes more sense to use a list. So to declare a list, we are going to declare a new private list with a capital L. We have to tell a list what type it is. So, when we declare a game object array, we say game object, and these square brackets denote that it's an array. With the list, just like we do with get component, we put it between these angle brackets. So in my case, it's going to be a game object list. Give it a name. I'll call it placed stickers. And then we have to initialize it as well, as in we have to create this new list, which we can do with the keyword new list, and then just repeat what the type is. I'm not sure why it goes to gamepad speaker output, but game object. So this creates it, and then this initializes it to like an empty list with type game object. We're going to need a few more things that I'm just going to add now. We're going to need a serialized field layer mask. We'll talk about that when we get to it. I'm just going to call it sticker layer. I'm going to add some text to my UI that just says we're in erase mode. So I'm going to reference that as well, just so I can toggle it on and off. It's going to be a game object, erase mode text. And then finally, we need a Boolean to know whether we are in sticker placement mode or sticker erase mode. So I'm just going to add a bool and call it erase mode. And it'll be set to false at first, so that we start in place mode, and then we go into sticker erase mode. Okay, let's start with the first and easiest part, really, and that is keeping track of the stickers. Right now, all we're doing is we're saying instantiate the prefab at the mouse world position with a 0 rotation. This instantiate, it returns a game object. It's not just void, it returns something, and it returns a reference to the new game object that it has placed here. If I was to quickly just go over to the Unity documentation, you could see here that if I scroll down, it returns an object, the instantiated clone. So it returns the game object that we just spawned. And that means that we could technically just set a game object to this instantiate, and whatever it returns will go be stored in it. So we can make a new game object. I'll just call it placed, as in it's like the placed game object, and we can just set it to equal this new instantiate. And now we have a reference to this game object. But of course, if we just kept this placed reference, what happens is when we place a new sticker, it's just going to overwrite it, right? So we are also immediately going to add this sticker into our array, or I'm sorry, our list, using place stickers, which is the name of the list, dot add. And then this just asks us what item we'd like to add. In this case, it's a game object. And so I'm going to add the game object placed. And just like that, we have, we can keep track of our list. In fact, if we just wanted to check this out real quick, instead of making this list private, I'm going to make it a serialized field just so we can see it in the inspector. We can see there's this place stickers now, right here. It's empty. When I click to add a sticker, you can see that game object cat2 has been added. If I change it to the duck, duck2 has been added. So now we can keep track of every single sticker we place onto the scene, which is great. Next thing I want to do is right now in update, we have this place sticker at mouse, right, when we click the mouse button, but really what I want is if we are in erase mode, I want to erase. I'll put that as a comment for now. And then also I want to just set erase mode to false. The way my game is going to work is we are just going to click on the erase button, click one sticker, erase it, and then we're back into place mode. So you could make it a toggle if you wanted. You click erase mode, you have an eraser, you click the erase mode button again, you're back into place mode. But in this case, the way I'm going to do it is you click erase mode, you can erase exactly one sticker, and then you're back into placement mode. So what we're going to do if erase mode is true is we're going to erase and then set the erase mode back to false. Otherwise, if we're not in erase mode, we're in place mode because we only have two modes. We're going to place the sticker at the mouse. And while I'm at that as well, I'm just going to go back to my Unity. I will make a new UI text here. I'll just call it erase txt underscore erase mode. Just turn the width up, and all this is going to say is erase mode. So we'll see this text and we should know erase mode is active. I'll also make it red. Our sticker manager has a reference to it because I already gave it one. And I'm just going to toss that in there. So the other thing I want to do with erase mode when we erase is also set the erase mode text to off, right? We also need a way to set erase mode to true, which is going to be done when we click the button. So we'll make a public function for that. We'll just call it public function. Oops. It's public void enter erase mode. And all this is going to do is set erase mode to true. And this is going to happen when we press that erase button, right? Let us also have this function turn on that text, so erase mode.text, set active to true. And then finally, we have this place stickers at mouse. So just like that, we need a private void erase sticker at mouse. And the first thing we want to do is get where our mouse clicked, right? So good thing we made that helper function, vector3 mouse world is equal to get mouse world position. So now the way we're going to detect if we have touched something is to use something called a raycast. You will find raycast done all throughout games. Later on when we start making our little first person experience, I'm going to use a raycast in that in 3D. All a raycast is we are drawing an invisible line, and if that line touches something, Unity is going to give us information on it. We can either get information on the first object that was touched, or there's a way of getting an array of information, if we wanted to see if we hit multiple things. In this case, I only care about the first sticker that we hit. So we're going to raycast from the mouse's position and see if we touched anything. Unity is going to give us information on that. If I go into the Unity docs, we're going to be using a 2D raycast. So this is not a 3D raycast. It's 2D. It only has an X and a Y, no Z. A raycast takes the origin, the direction, the float, like a distance, how long is this going to be? It's going to go that far in this direction. It also takes a layer mask. It takes a couple other things, and there's a few ways to, there's a few overrides. There's a few different ways to use it. But those are the main things it takes. It's going to take an origin, a direction, a distance, and then a layer mask. A layer mask just kind of determines which objects it can interact with and which it can't. It's kind of like tags, but if you've used Photoshop, it's like layers, right? We have different layers, different objects are in different layers, and we're just saying, hey, only care about objects in this layer. In this case, we are going to make a sticker layer and put all our stickers in there. So that raycast is going to ignore everything else and only care about things in the sticker layer. So let's do that. A raycast returns something called a hit. Specifically, it's called a raycast hit. In this case, it's a 2D one. I'll just call it hit. And we can do physics2d.raycast. What is the position that we want to start in? It's going to be the mouse world. And also, I spelled raycast hit wrong. It's lowercase c. It's going to start at the mouse world. What direction do we want it to move in? So because this is 2D, again, we're only thinking the X and the Y direction, right? I don't want it to go in any direction because I want to see what's right underneath the mouse. So I can just put vector2.0, which is just like a zero vector, 0, 0, right? So we're not moving in any direction. We're just looking right under the mouse. What is a distance I want to move? Again, we're not thinking in 3D. We're thinking in 2D. I don't really want to move any distance, right? I'm just checking what is underneath the mouse. So the distance can be 0. And then finally, what is the layer mask we want to use? I made a sticker. What did I call it? I called it sticker layer. I should call it sticker layer mask just to make it more clear. And I really want to set it to that. Sticker layer mask. So next we got to check if this hit result, so when the Physics2D does its raycast, if it hits something, it's going to set this hit result to true. So we can check if we've hit something because it's going to set this hit result. It has a bunch of stuff in it, but one of those things is if we've actually hit something or not. And we can just check that or we can just see that by checking if the hit.collider is not. Well, we'll check if it's equal to null. So if that hit collider is null, that means we didn't hit something right. And we can just return out of this function. If we did hit something, then let's make a new game object that's going to be called our target. And it's going to be equal to the hit collider's game object. It's not a function, that is just a variable. Okay. And then finally, we can say place stickers dot remove, which is very nice. So this list remove function is going to take an item. Again, it's going to be a game object, right? That's the type of our list. What is the item that we want to remove? Well, it's the target. We also want to destroy the target because, we don't want to see it on the screen anymore. If by chance we hit something and it's not in our stickers list, that's not a good thing. So before we do that, let's just check if this target is even in the list. And we can do that by checking if the place stickers dot contains. So if this contains, again, this takes an item. and that's going to be the target. So if place stickers contains this item, I want to remove it. I'm just going to do the opposite and say if it doesn't contain the item, then just return. And we just need to call this now in erase mode. So erase sticker at mouse. And now back here, let's just set up those layers. It looks like I have an error. Let me just deal with that. All I had done was forgot a semicolon here. Make sure we add that. And then now we want to create that layer, right? So if I click on Sticker Manager, you can see there's a sticker layer mask. It's set to nothing right now. If I click it, we can set it to everything, but really I just want to set it to one specific variable or layer that's going to be the sticker layer. So I will just go into my prefabs. These are where all my stickers are. For now, I'll just click on one. Just like we did the tags, there's a layer right next to it. We can drop it down. We can add a new layer. Under layer 6, I'm just going to add a new layer, call it sticker. Oops. Sticker. I can see all the layers start with a capital letter, so I'm just going to follow that convention. And then go back to my prefabs. I'm going to select all of them and then just set their layer to sticker. Same thing in the sticker manager, just set the sticker layer mask to sticker. If I click this, you can see that sticker is checked. And we should be, actually the other thing I had forgot to do real quick was set this erase button to actually call that erase mode function. Let me just do that real quick. Drag in the sticker manager. What do I want to run? I want to run a function in the sticker manager script. What is that called? It's called enter erase mode. And so let's try it out. Click stickers, select some stickers, start adding them. I hit erase mode. It says erase mode up here. I click on a sticker and there you go. It's gone. We can even look at the sticker manager here, right? We have 5 stickers. Erase, click. Now we have 4 stickers. Awesome. So we can keep track of them. We can delete them as we do it. And keeping track of them is useful for other reasons too, right? In case we want to reference them later on. What if we want a certain limit of stickers? I can only have 25 stickers on the screen. I can check before we place a sticker if this is greater than 25. So that's great. We can keep track of it. We also have our erase function working. There's just one last little tweak I want to make. And that is right now, if I click erase and I click randomly somewhere, it doesn't erase anything, right? But it leaves erase mode. I want it to leave erase mode only if we actually erase a sticker. So what I'm going to do is instead of this place sticker at mouse, erase sticker at mouse, instead of it returning nothing, I'm actually going to have it return a Boolean. If we don't erase anything, it's going to return false. And if it does destroy it, it's going to return true. Now, I'm showing you guys this because this is a very, very common kind of pattern that we see in game development where you have a function that returns a Boolean to tell you if something has happened or if it hasn't. And so I think it's just useful for us to get this into our mind. There's one big problem with this function as is right now, and that is if I have no stickers on the screen, I go into erase mode and I try and erase things, I'll never be able to get out. So, there needs to be some failsafe here, but this is a pattern you'll see very often where functions return a Boolean. And all I need to do is check here. Now, if we're in erase mode, instead of just erase sticker at mouse, I can check if erase sticker at mouse, because it's going to return a true or false, right? And only if it returns true do I want to get out of erase mode. And so this makes it a little nicer, right? We can now check directly, have we erased something? Because this function is going to tell us if it ran successfully or not. And this is, again, a very common pattern you'll find in game development. Or even more than game development, just programming in general. And so just checking on it, if I go into stickers, I go place one, I hit erase, I click everywhere that's not the sticker, it's not leaving erase mode, that function's always returning false. We click on the sticker, it returns true, we're out of erase mode. The issue here again is there's no stickers on screen, I hit erase, and now we can forever not place stickers again because we are just stuck in erase mode. A very simple fix for that is just to have our erase mode button toggle, erase mode on and off. And, we can just do that by checking. If we are not in erase mode, then set erase mode to true. Otherwise, just do the opposite. Set erase mode to false and set the erase mode text dot active to false. So we can just use that erase mode button to toggle. Very easy way to fix, the issue that's caused by the function returning a boolean and us checking that. And there you go. Now I have no stickers. I can't get out of erase mode, but if I click the button again, we get back into sticker place mode. And awesome, there you go. It was fairly simple, right? We just added one new function, kept track of the list, and now we have another feature. We have a new feature where we can erase our stickers. I hope you guys can kind of see how we're building up from simple code, just adding little bits of functionality one by one to build up into a full application. This is pretty much how all development looks like, right? We're just going to start with a shell, add a few features, and then keep improving on it by adding a few more features. When you guys start making larger projects, you might find that the longer you work on it, you might find a better way to organize things, and that's normal as well. But it's always good to just get started and start adding the features in, and then seeing how we can improve on it after that. Thank you guys for watching.